Open on dust, endless, suffocating dust. The land of Israel stretches across the screen in golden misery, villages half empty, farmers watching Philistine soldiers haul away their grain. The camera drifts low over cracked earth, past hollow-eyed children and weeping mothers. A title card bleeds in Israel, 40 years under the Philistines. We settle on a modest home near the Valley of Sorek. Inside, a woman named Mano's wife sits alone, pressing her hands to a belly that has never grown. She's beautiful, tired, hopeful in the way only the long-suffering can be. Her husband Mano is kind but anxious. He's seen what barrenness does to women in this land, how it chips at them like water on stone. Then the air changes. A stranger appears at the edge of the field. No one saw him walk up. He's tall, still, the kind of still that makes the birds go quiet. He approaches the woman alone and speaks with a calm authority that vibrates in your chest rather than your ears. His face catches the light in a way that doesn't quite make sense. He tells her the impossible: you are barren, but you will conceive and bear a son. His instructions are precise, almost surgical. No wine, no strong drink, nothing unclean shall enter her body. And when the boy is born, no razor shall ever touch his head. He is set apart, a Nazirite, dedicated to God before he takes his first breath. He will begin the rescue of Israel. She ran to her husband breathless, not with fear, but with the electricity of a woman who has just been handed the most terrifying gift imaginable. Mano is not a bad man, he's just a man. He prays for the angel to return so he can verify the story. The angel comes back. Mano, ever the pragmatist, offers to cook him a meal. The angel declines. Mano presses, "What is your name?" The angel looks at him with the slight amusement of someone asked for a color that doesn't exist yet. "Why do you ask my name? It is too wonderful." Mano prepares a burnt offering on the rock. As the flame rises, the angel steps into the fire, up into the column of smoke. Gone, Mano collapses face first on the ground, certain he has just watched them both die. His wife, calmer, steadier, tells him plainly, if God meant to kill us, he wouldn't have told us all of that. The woman's belly grows, then one night, in lamplight and joyful chaos, a baby's cry tears open the silence. They name him Samson. He is large from birth, loud, alert, already different. The Spirit of God begins to stir in him like wind in tall grass. A brief, gorgeous montage, Samson growing up wild in Sorek, running faster than the other boys, laughing louder, helping his father move boulders that take 3 men to shift. He doesn't know yet what he carries, he just runs. Samson is a young man, now hair long, wild, magnificent. He walks into Timnah, Philistine territory, head high and unbothered. And then he sees her, a Philistine girl, beautiful in the way that makes young men forget every piece of wisdom they've ever been given. He goes home and tells his parents, "Get her for me as my wife." His parents are mortified. Among all the women of your own people, there isn't one, but Samson is immovable. His parents didn't know that God was already orchestrating this. The Philistines needed a reason to pick a fight. Samson would be that reason. On the road to Timnah, walking through the vineyards of Sorek, Samson hears it first, a sound like tearing thunder. A young lion explodes out of the brush and hurls itself at him. No warning, no hesitation, just raw, murderous weight hurtling through the air. The Spirit of the Lord comes upon him. What happens next is one of the most chilling lines in all of Scripture, delivered in the Bible with terrifying casualness. He tore the lion apart with his bare hands as one tears apart a young goat. Samson straightens up, breathing hard. He walks on. He doesn't tell his parents, not a word. That moment, Samson standing over the lion, hair loose in the wind, chest heaving, is the scene that defines the entire story. God's power, Samson's silence, the warning nobody heard. Days later, on his return, Samson detours through the vineyards. He finds the lion carcass. A swarm of bees has moved in, and there is honey, golden, impossible honey dripping from inside the skull of the creature he killed. He scoops it with his hands and eats as he walks, gives some to his parents, doesn't tell them where it came from. This small detail is everything, something sweet out of something deadly, a secret inside a secret. Samson is already living in metaphor and doesn't know it yet. The wedding feast lasts 7 days per Philistine custom. 30 Philistine men are assigned as Samson's companions. He's in high spirits, drunk on celebration. He poses a riddle, and here is where his first fatal flaw emerges. Samson loves to be clever. He loves to know something nobody else knows. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. If you solve this riddle in 7 days, I'll give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothing. Fail and you give me the same. The 30 Philistine men are stumped for 3 days. By day 4, they're not laughing anymore. By day 6, they're cornering his new wife with a quiet, ugly threat. Get the answer out of him, or we burn your father's house down with your family inside it. Samson's wife turns the full weaponry of her grief on him. She cries through the feast. She accuses him of hatting her. She says a man who truly loves a woman tells her his secrets. Samson resists for 4 days. On the 7th day he breaks. He tells her. She runs to her countrymen before the sun sets. The 30 men appear before Samson with smug, knowing smiles. What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? Samson's face goes cold as stone. If you hadn't plowed with my heifer, you never would have solved my riddle. His voice is ice. The Spirit of the Lord comes on him. He walks to Ashkelon. A full day's journey kills 30 Philistines, strips them, brings their garments back, and throws them at the men who cheated him. Then he goes home to his father's house, burning. Time has passed. Samson's anger cools. He goes back to Timnah with a young goat, a peace offering for his wife. Her father meets him at the door with the worst possible news delivered in the most tone-deaf way imaginable. I thought you truly hated her, so I gave her to your companion. But don't worry, her younger sister is prettier anyway. The look on Samson's face, the silence before the storm, he turns and walks away, but he's not going home. What Samson does next is perhaps the most theatrically unhinged thing in the entire Old Testament, and that is saying something. He catches 300 foxes. In pairs, he ties their tails together with torches between them. Then he lights them and sends them running through the standing grain of the Philistines during harvest season. Grain fields, olive orchards, vineyards, all of it gone. 1,000 lines of fire spreading across the dark fields like a living map being redrawn. The Philistines stare at the horizon, open-mouthed. Please support me by subscribing to this channel, like and share this video to your loved ones. The Philistines burn his wife and father-in-law alive. Samson, in return, attacks the Philistines with such savage force that the Bible simply says he struck them hip and thigh with great slaughter. Then he retreats to a cave in the rock of Etam alone, waiting. The Philistines march into Judah in force. The men of Judah, terrified, ask the obvious question, "What is Samson doing to us?" They negotiate. They'll hand him over if the Philistines promise not to kill them. 3,000 men of Judah go to Samson's cave to arrest their own champion. The tragedy in this scene is devastating. Samson's own people, so broken by oppression, they've lost the imagination to fight back, coming to chain him. Samson agrees to go quietly, on one condition: don't kill me yourselves. They bind him in 2 new ropes and march him toward the Philistines at Lehi. The Philistines see him and rush forward, shouting. The Spirit of the Lord explodes over Samson like a wave. The ropes melt off his wrists like wet paper. He reaches down and picks up something from the ground, the fresh jawbone of a donkey. And with it, one man, no armor, no sword, kills 1,000 Philistine soldiers. 1,000. It should be overwhelming, almost incomprehensible, the bones swinging in arcs, men scattering, stumbling, the dust rising until the entire frame is chaos, and one figure standing at the center of it. When the last man falls, Samson lifts the jawbone and recites his own war poem right there in the field. With a donkey's jawbone, I have made donkeys of them. With a donkey's jawbone, I have killed 1,000 men. Then he collapses, dehydrated, exhausted, and cries out to God, "You gave this great victory to your servant, and now I will die of thirst." God splits the hollow place at Lehi and water gushes up. Samson drinks lives. He judged Israel for 20 years. 20 years of one-man deterrence, the Philistines afraid to push too far because somewhere out in the hills, a man with impossible hair could reduce an army to dust with a dead animal's bone. Years have passed. Samson carries Gaza's city gates on his shoulders in a single notorious night, a show of contempt so absurd and magnificent that the whole region talks about it for years. He is untouchable, unstoppable, a legend wearing human skin. And then comes the Valley of Sorek and Delilah. We never learn where she's from or what she was before. We only know that Samson loves her, the way he looks at her, with something that 20 years of victory and solitude couldn't replace. This is not lust, this is longing. Samson has been alone with his power for a very long time. 5 Philistine lords come to Delilah in secret. Each one drops 1,100 pieces of silver on the table in front of her, together 5,500 pieces. A fortune. They ask, find out where his strength comes from, find out how we can overpower him. She stares at the silver and she asks Samson directly, where does your great strength come from? How could someone bind and subdue you? She doesn't even dress it up. He laughs, he enjoys this. He lies with the playfulness of a man who thinks he's completely safe. Bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have never been dried, and I'll become as weak as any other man. She binds him while he sleeps. The Philistines are waiting in the next room. She calls out, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He snaps the bowstrings like thread. She tries again, new ropes. He snaps those. She weaves his hair into a loom. He pulls the whole loom out of the wall. 3 times she catches him, 3 times he lied, and still he comes back. He keeps coming back. Then she deploys the oldest weapon in the world. How can you say you love me when you don't trust me? You've lied to me 3 times. You don't actually love me. Day after day, night after night, pressing, weeping, accusing, she vexed him to death with her nagging. His soul was worn down to the nub. He was sick unto death of it. And one night, tired, in a way that has nothing to do with his body, Samson tells her everything. He told her all his heart. He had never told anyone all his heart, not his parents, not his first wife, not in 20 years. The loneliness finally found an exit, and it walked straight into a trap. She sends for the Philistine lords. She gets the silver first. Samson sleeps with his head in her lap, trusting, exposed, finally at peace. A man comes with a razor, 7 locks of hair. One by one, they fall to the floor, each one cutting the scene like a blade. The room goes quiet. The sleeping man's face shifts, something drains from it, slowly, like color leaving cloth left in the sun. She calls out, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He wakes and rises exactly as he had every other time. And the line that follows is perhaps the most heartbreaking in the entire Bible, delivered in 8 words that land like a hammer. He did not know that the Lord had left him. They take him, they gouge out his eyes. They bind him in bronze chains and take him down to Gaza, the very city whose gates he once carried on his back. Now he grinds grain in the prison, shuffling in circles in the dark, sightless and humiliated, the great champion reduced to a beast of burden. We need to understand what this costs him, not just physically, but in the deep place of the soul where identity lives. But the Bible adds one quiet, easy-to-miss sentence. The hair on his head began to grow again. The Philistine lords throw a great festival to their god, Dagon, a celebration of their triumph over Israel's champion. The temple is packed, 3,000 people on the roof alone, watching, jeering. They call for Samson to be brought out for their entertainment. The blind man shuffles in on a boy's arm chains, hollow eyes, the husk of the lion slayer. The crowd erupts. They mock him. They celebrate. Dagon, they cry, has delivered Samson into their hands. The noise is overwhelming. Samson turns to the boy who led him in. Quiet, almost gentle, let me feel the pillars that the house rests on so that I may lean against them. His hands find the 2 central pillars, the ones holding up everything. He stands between them, palms on stone, head bowed. The crowd is still laughing above. He does not rush. He is not angry in this moment. He prays. For the first and only time in this entire story, Samson addresses God in a complete sentence of submission. O Lord God, remember me. Please strengthen me only this once, O God, so that I may take vengeance on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Then, quietly, the most devastating sentence in the chapter, "Let me die with the Philistines." He knew he wasn't walking away from this. He chose it anyway. With all his might, he pushed against the pillars. The stone groaned. The crowd's laughter broke off a half-second of terrible silence as everyone looked up at the same time. Then the roof came down. The Temple of Dagon, the most powerful symbol of Philistine domination over Israel, collapsed in a single moment. 3,000 people, the 5 lords who had bribed Delilah, all of them. So the dead whom he killed at his death were more than those he had killed during his life. His brothers came and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol, the same hills where as a boy he had first felt the wind of God stirring in his chest. He judged Israel 20 years. He ended where he began, in God's hands. Samson is not a clean hero. He's reckless, emotional, easily manipulated by the people he loves, and frequently the author of his own disasters. He breaks his Nazirite vow touching a carcass. He runs to enemy women. He tells secrets he should never tell. And yet God used him anyway, every single time. Even when Samson was acting on personal vengeance rather than national purpose, God was weaving it into something larger. That's the theological gut punch of the whole story. Samson's worst impulses were still inside God's plan. Please support me by subscribing to this channel, like and share this video to your loved ones. God bless you and see you in our next video.